I have so many things lately that I want to say on these videos, and I think about it all day. I should say that in the video, and just thoughts and insights and experiences that I'm having and want to share with you guys. But when the time comes to actually make a video, I can't really get myself to do it. So that's the thing with depression, is that it's really hard to do anything. And even getting myself to stand up and get out of bed is a challenge for me. So actually making the decision in the moment to film a video is harder for me than it probably appears on your guys' end. A lot of times, like for example, this moment, I was laying there and thinking about all the stuff I want to share with you guys, and I kept on thinking, hey, it's almost 4 o'clock in the evening now, and you've been thinking about making a video for a while now and you haven't done it. Are you ever going to do it? And the answer is kind of always no, because it's easy to think about doing something. It's easy to think about taking action, but actually taking the action is very hard, even when that action is simple. And I don't know if that's anhedonia. I don't really think that's what it is. Maybe kind of. It's like your brain has such little dopamine available, or it's not regulating dopamine properly. Dopamine, as lots of people know kind of what it is, but it also is what your body uses to get you to do everything, not just exciting things, to do everything. And when you're depressed, you usually don't have a lot of dopamine available, or the uptake of it is, there's something going on there. It's not working too well. So everything is really, really, really hard to do. And I always want to do a better job with these videos. I have a nicer camera. I want to use a nicer camera. It's not hard to use the nicer camera. All I have to do is turn it on, clip on my microphone, and press record. But it's too much for me. Everything is just too much for me, and I can't do it. So I'm trying to do what I can, which in this circumstance is these videos, and I literally just set it wherever I am, or I'm holding it up to my face in my bed. It's the bare minimum, and the bare minimum is also my everything at the same time. So this morning I woke up and I was laying in bed for a few hours, and I knew I wanted to go to the gym, because if you guys have been following me, I've decided that's something that I want to do. And I sat there for hours thinking about how I wanted to do it, waiting for myself to get the motivation to do it, even though I know that motivation is never going to come. So 2 hours had gone by, and it was about 10:30, and I was still in bed. And I thought, okay, I have to go to the gym by 12. And then more time went on, and I still wasn't getting the motivation to go. And I just thought to myself, you've been living with yourself like this for how long now? You're not going to get the motivation to go. You just made a video 2 days ago about how you're never going to have the motivation to go. You just have to do it. And that's when I realized 12 o'clock was going to come, and I still wasn't going to want to go. So what choice did I have? I had to just go. And that's the thing about depression, is in order to get out of depression, you have to do things. But when you have depression, you don't want to do the things. You really don't want to do it. It's almost not that you don't want to, it's almost like you can't. But the only way, and you would think if I didn't have depression, then I would be able to do those things. If I didn't have depression, I would be able to go to the gym. If I didn't have depression, I would be able to make myself a nice meal. If I didn't have depression, I would be able to call up a friend or my sister and ask them to hang out. If I didn't have depression, I'd be able to tidy up. If I didn't have depression, I'd be able to do insert thing here. But for someone with clinical, major, long-term, lifelong depression, you're never going to know. That's never going to happen. You're never just going to want to. So you have to. And to have to do something without having the dopamine, without having the supporting neurotransmitters assisting you in that process, which is what most people are dealing with. They may not want to go to the gym, but they still have a little bit of something supporting them inside of them. But when you're majorly depressed, especially for a long time, you have absolutely nothing pushing you, supporting you. It's like every step you take to do that thing, it's like you feel like you're going to collapse at any minute. And I just have to do it. And I realize this, and I always say realize as if it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's something I've known, but you have to fight it and fight it and fight it. And I guess the thing is I'm finally ready to fight it. I'm 29. I'm almost 30. I've been dealing with depression like this for as long as I have memories. And I always hoped with enough healing, with enough trauma processing, with enough attachment style heal. I always thought if I healed, that the depression would go away. And I did the healing. I had the spiritual awakening. Still depressed. And I reached that point. I've reached so many low points, so many rock bottoms. But this one was different. This one was, I cannot do it anymore. I can't go through this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. And I think that the age 30 coming up is part of like the trigger here, because when you're depressed in your 20s, your early 20s, mid-20s, you think everything might sort itself out, but when you're almost 30 and you thought things would be different by now, and they're not different, they're worse. I can't go on like that. So on a vibrational scale, with, I don't know what the vibrational scale, what the actual definitions for each one is, but the bottom is like depression and defeat and everything, right? And anger comes shortly below that. Anger is a step up from depression. And I hadn't experienced anger for a long time. Anger isn't something within my, my variety of emotions, for a lack of a better term. When I would be depressed, my depression would be sadness and defeat and getting smaller and smaller and more fearful, and all the things at the bottom of the vibrational scale. When I would be laying in bed depressed every morning, waking up thinking, I can't do this again, like how I woke up today. I would just be more sad, more defeated, more suffering, more pain. And finally, I can't do it anymore. I can't. And I thought I felt this way before, but this is like a new level. And I've been working to bring my vibration up, and where my vibration is now is anger. And I wake and I'm full of misery and sadness and pain. But I don't let it push me down further into it, because I know that it's not going to take me anywhere. pushing back into the sadness and waiting on the universe or God or Yeshua or Allah or whatever you want to call the universe to change me, I have to make some action. I have to take some action, and I can't just sit around and contemplate and ruminate and conceptualize and intellectualize depression, because I understand depression. I even understand how to get out of depression. And I know that one of the most important things in order to get out of depression is to exercise. And I'll explain on a neurological level when I am there, like when I don't know, have more, when I feel like it. Like, I just don't right now. Why exercise is so important, and it's probably not what you think, but I don't know where I was going with everything, but yeah, so I have all this knowledge. I study neurology. I study all, this is my passion. I don't study in school. It's like a personal passion of mine. I know a lot about it. And I know how to get out of depression, but I can't do it. I can't do it. That's the thing about depression, is people tell you this is what you need to do to get out of depression. But when a depressed person can't do those things, it's like we're missing something here. I can't do it. I can't do the things I need to get better. A depressed person needs to hang out with people. I can't. Don't you get that I can't? A depressed person needs structure and routine and a job. A depressed person can't do those things. It's not that simple. And that's the whole thing with depression, is that you have to find a way to do it anyways. You have to find a way to do it anyways, despite being unable to do it. And that I don't have the answer for, because I think it takes reaching your lowest point. And I've reached my lowest point in other ways, and that's what triggered my spiritual awakening. You know, suffering is what is the catalyst to enlightenment. And I'm not saying I'm enlightened, because I'm not. Very few people will be enlightened in this lifetime. But on the path to enlightenment, yes, I am on the path. And I sat there in my bed this morning and feeling so depressed and hopeless, and realized I wasn't gonna get the motivation to go to the gym, and I had no choice but to stay where I was, which was really bad, or to get up and do it. It sounds kind of like the Nike, I don't know, slogan or whatever, like just do it. Yeah, you have to just do it. And it's harder. It's harder for depressed people than it is for anyone else in the world. And I'll fight you on that, because a depressed person has altered brain chemistry of, I don't know if I should say this, but of their own doing. It's like epigenetics within your own developmental years, within your own years of your own life, instead of it being like passed down. But I created my own depression. Sure, it was triggered by my growing up in a situation that caused me to view things differently, and to hate myself, and to not see the good, or not see the good. I didn't not see the good, but it caused me, I don't know how to put this into words. My childhood caused me to think a certain way, and I never escaped that way of thinking. So now I'm almost 30 years old, and I have experienced lifelong depression, but it is by my own thinking. Unfortunately, it's not my fault that I was born into a situation that caused me to think this way. But my point being is that I can I really hope I don't get people mad at me in the comments, because I'm not saying you are your own fault, but I am saying that we create ourselves, and we have the power to change it. Not that simple, I know. But anyways, so my story is just, I'm just seeing the video is very long and I'm completely rambling. I don't even know if I'm making sense to you guys. So I'm sitting there in bed and I'm realizing that motivation is not going to come. Not even motivation, that ability to just get up and feel like I want to do it. I did not want to do it. Did not want to do it. I had to do it. I started to feel angry, and it's something I don't usually feel. I started to feel like I don't want to be like this anymore. Not like, I don't want to be like this anymore, crying, which is how you usually see me. It was like, I don't want this anymore. I don't deserve this. And I don't want to live like this anymore. And I have to make a change. And I have to go to the gym. And I have to keep doing it. I have to wake up in the morning and feeling like I don't want to be alive. And I have to force myself to go. And I have to do that with everything, day after day after day. And one day, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to want to go to the gym. Or maybe I won't want to go. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have motivation to go to the gym. I'm going to have dopamine encouraging me to do something worthwhile. But until that moment, I have nothing. I have nothing other than my legs and a body that moves. And a body that moves that's controlled by my brain. And my brain wants nothing more than to just end it. But that's what my life will keep looking like. And I have to choose to change. I have to do the things that are almost nearly impossible. And this whole video was a complete ramble. What my point of what I wanted to say, and I thought this when I was in bed, is when I was like, I'm not going to want to go. It's never going to come. Stop thinking that time is going to come that I want to go. It's never going to come. You have to just go. You have to just go. And I went. And I didn't really like it. I only went for 25 minutes. And I didn't feel good after. But you know what I felt after? I didn't feel as bad. And I did it. I did something despite what I did something despite what I wanted to do. I don't know how I'm really putting that into words, but I left feeling better. And I felt better all day. And it doesn't mean that I was smiling all day. It doesn't mean I felt great all day. It doesn't mean I'm not depressed. It doesn't mean I'm not sad. It doesn't mean I'm not suffering. But it means on a scale of here to here of the worst feeling ever and feeling good, instead of being here, I'm a millimeter or whatever. I am better. And I won't give up. I won't give up because I can't give up. I can't go on like that. I cannot live another year, day of my life like that. And the only way for me to stop is to by doing the things that I hate for depression advice, to exercise, to go hang out with friends, to do things, all this stuff that I can't do because I'm depressed. I can't do it. You have to do it. And obviously that doesn't cure depression, because if I had myself do these things a few years back, it wouldn't have helped and got me out of depression because I was so unhealed. I had so much trauma and pain that needed to be healed. And I may the exercise and stuff and doing stuff may bring me out of this type of depression where I can't get out of bed and it's hard to like feed myself or even walk to the bathroom. But I would still be in a lot of pain. I would maybe go and hang out with people, but I'd have to cry in the bathroom. Or I'd be putting on a fake smile the whole time. But because I've healed a lot of my trauma and attachment issues and everything, I feel like this is the final next step for me, and it's almost harder than healing the trauma. I'm sure you know what I mean. If you're so depressed that you're in bed and you have to pee, but it's too hard for you to walk to the bathroom, or you're in bed and you're starving, but it's too hard for you to walk to the kitchen and eat something. Imagine trying to do anything more than that. Some of you understand what I'm saying, but if you've never been there, you don't get it. I get it. I know what it's like. But I am ready to do all the things that I've known for so long that I have to do to not be depressed. And I have to do it. No excuses.